Hi, everyone. I'm Maggie McGrath, senior editor at Forbes. Meta faces a historic antitrust trial from the Federal Trade Commission, and on Monday, CEO Mark Zuckerberg took the stand to defend his company. Joining us to discuss these developments is my colleague on the tech team, Emily Baker-White. Emily, thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
So this trial just began this week, but it has roots in 2020 and before. Can you lay out the context? What are the charges against Meta, and when did the FTC bring the case?
Yeah, so the charges against Meta go back far because they have to do with Meta's acquisition of WhatsApp and of Instagram. And so years ago, when Meta was Facebook, and when it was a much smaller company, Mark Zuckerberg pursued a strategy of purchasing both of those companies. And this case is largely about whether he purchased those companies in order to stifle competition.
Zuckerberg's intentions seem to be on trial here, which seem difficult to prove. It's always hard to know what someone has in their mind and in their heart when they do an action, right? Just in general. But does the FTC have a strong case here, in your opinion?
Proving motive is hard, but it's easier when there are receipts. And what the FTC has is some emails and other communications from Zuckerberg and his top lieutenants talking about their desire to buy these companies in order to neutralize competition. And that is sort of one of the strongest pieces of evidence that the FTC has here. But the FTC also has a challenge. They have to define a market for Facebook and then prove that Facebook was operating as a monopoly in that market. And that means deciding who Facebook or Meta's competitors are and were. And that gets into a really difficult sort of slicing and dicing. You have to think, is YouTube a competitor? Is TikTok a competitor, et cetera?
Defining a market here feels tricky, and I say this in part based on my own use of these services, right? You can go on Facebook Marketplace and find goods for your apartment. You can go on WhatsApp and message your friends. You can go on Instagram and post stories, and suddenly over the course of the day, Meta has monopolized my time, but I don't think that's what the FTC is arguing here, is it?
Yeah, so one of the trickiest things here, and one of the things that's like new in this case, or at least fairly new, we saw it in the Google antitrust case too, is that the primary asset here is data. We're used to talking about antitrust like for the creation of things. Do you have a monopoly in the car market? Do you have a monopoly in the book market? I can hold it in my hand. Like we know what the thing is. And here we're talking about monopolization of data. And that's a very different, tricky thing just for the judge to wrap his hands around.